This is what the weirdos and their lackeys are doing. Badawi. Classically predictable psychopathic behavior. Scroll through these publicly available mugshots I found on the public internet that anyone can find, many of which are for domestic violence. Really weird that people I've never seen before are popping on here because other people have told them to attack me. And without thinking or even using evidence-based reasoning, they do it. All because I say this, or that person is a bad person that doesn't make any sense. Just because they missed earlier evidence or refused to look at the evidence that is publicly available. These people also either just sling mud, say no one cares, or misspell things horribly, which honestly just reflects poorly on them. But they seem to lack that self-awareness. They don't seem very bright, but they sure do keep trying their darndest, bless their hearts. People keep claiming that clipping them is defamation. People keep claiming that posting their mugshots and arrest information is defamation. People keep calling me a liar without providing a single clip or screenshot demonstrating that I actually said something false. I don't think some people understand what defamation actually means, nor do they understand imagination inflation when it interacts with egocentric bias during a narcissistic injury. Just because the truth hurts your feelings doesn't make it rational to invent additional implications about what you assume I would say or think. Demonize me over those fabricated would-have-done scenarios, and then later misremember those imagined scenarios as though they were things I actually said or did. You can't construct a fantasy about what you think I must have meant. Treat that fantasy as evidence of wrongdoing and then claim I lied about you based on something you cannot actually demonstrate. I said, sure, semantic errors are one thing, but if they're still within the realm of the same topic, they're generally relevant. There is also an entire field of philosophy dealing with semantic fallacies and the biases people use to evade criticism. When someone relies on semantic technicalities to escape criticism or deflect from the substance of the topic, that behavior can itself be telling, especially when the underlying issue is genuinely damning. People seem really triggered and offended. I must have really hit a nerve. Their feelings are really hurt, lo, you mad bros. Respond anywhere to say yes. The only appropriate response to a claim is a counterclaim or request for citation evidence. Restricting responses to personal attacks, deflections, biases, fallacies, or semantics is just evidence that the original claims lacks counter evidence. This shouldn't need pointing out. Just for the record, I don't make claims without screenshots or recordings, etc. Just because you haven't personally seen them doesn't mean anything. Using that mislogic is a multi-pronged type of fallacy trap that includes,
I haven't seen evidence of this, therefore it isn't true.
Treating the absence of evidence or testimony as evidence that it didn't happen.
I can't believe that happened. I haven't experienced that, therefore it probably didn't.
I've never had that problem, so you're wrong.
Hasty generalization.
Generalizing from one's limited personal experience.
Appeal to personal experience.
Treating personal experience as sufficient to establish a universal claim.
Shifting the burden of proof.
Demanding that someone disprove your unsupported conclusion.
Moving the goalposts.
Inventing new evidentiary requirements after evidence has been provided.
Dismissal of evidence.
Selective skepticism. Applying a higher evidentiary standard to evidence one dislikes. And when confronted with the evidence, it can also devolve into
whataboutism.
Changing the subject to someone else's alleged wrongdoing.
Boverism.
Assuming the claim is wrong and explaining why the claimant supposedly believes it instead of addressing the evidence.
Attacking the claimant's credibility to discredit their evidence.
Misrepresenting the claim and attacking the distorted version instead.
Attacking the person instead of addressing the evidence.
Dismissing a claim based on alleged motives rather than its evidence. Appeal to semantics, focusing on wording or terminology to avoid the substantive issue.
Overwhelming exception.
flooding the discussion with exceptions or tangential objections to obscure the central evidence.
Denial of pre-established knowledge.
Rejecting previously established or documented facts simply because they conflict with one's position.
Loaded accusations as deflection.
Using unsupported accusations to shift attention away from the evidence.
Blame shifting.
Redirecting responsibility for the issue onto the person presenting the evidence. No, not every random person who shows up later is entitled to a complete recap of everyone and everything that has ever happened. That's a ridiculous expectation. If you weren't here and don't know how to look things up, that's on you. Your lack of knowledge about something doesn't justify making claims about it simply because you encountered it later. Pathological lion, fantasy, ego shit continues, Lalo. Anon line 4 days ago, and they're still obsessed and flooding due. They're mad and triggered. Certain people and those who run interference for them keep reaching for the same tactic, loudly condemning some other, more distant group of bad actors as cover, as if that establishes their own credibility. It doesn't work, people see through it, especially when the underlying criticism doesn't hold up on its own. It's also a weak move to dismiss consistent, even-handed critics as holier than thou, or to label people spurs for calmly pointing out bad behavior. And these deflection tactics, both are just attempts at social repositioning, trying to discredit the critic instead of addressing the criticism. People are freaking out right now, flooding my comments, so I'm deleting them and privating the videos, because it's hilarious to see the same people over and over showing zero self-aware of their projection. They claim no one cares, yet here they are. They claim it's other people that are spurging out, yet they are using volatile, charge aggressive language and attacking people. They are overly triggered. I accomplished what I wanted to. Good night, weirdos. Predatory grooming behavior pattern, love bombing, excessive affection gifts early on, isolating, cutting target off from friends, family, creating secrecy just between us, framing, testing boundaries, small violations to gauge reaction, minimizing, downplaying their own bad behavior, denying flat refusal despite evidence, faint forgetfulness. I don't remember doing that. Gaslighting, making target doubt their own memory, perception, blame shifting, turning it back on the target, guilt tripping. After all I've done for you, playing victim, flipping the narrative, intimate reinforcement, mixing affection with cruelty, excessive flattery, inflating target self-image to build dependency, special treatment, making target feel chosen or unique, rushing intimacy, accelerating emotional, physical closeness, boundary erosion, gradual escalation, testing each new line, grooming through gifts, favors, creating obligation, triangulation, using others to create jealousy or insecurity, public charm, private cruelty, different persona depending on audience, discrediting, undermining targets' credibility to others preemptively, surveillance, monitoring, tracking targets' activity or location, controlling access, limiting who target can talk to, weaponizing secrets, using shared confidences as leverage, apology loop, cycles of sincere sounding apology without change, testing loyalty, asking target to keep them hidden or protected, normalizing, framing inappropriate behavior as ordinary, selective memory, recalling favors done, forgetting harm caused, moving goalposts, redefining what counts as wrong after being caught, humorous cover, inappropriate jokes to test, normalize boundaries, then just joking if called out. Discrediting critics, smear, demonizing or attacking the credibility of anyone who raises concerns. Annoyed that I treat wife beaters, chomos, cruel instigating bullies, criminal perverts, pathological liars, manipulators, accepting differently than others. Well, guess what I do? And so do the majority of people.
And there's both common sense and rational justification for this. I shouldn't even have to explain that. This idea that I'm the bad guy because I respond to that behavior doesn't make any sense. If you're a threat to a community, people going to respond. People are not the bad guy for either holding you accountable or for holding up a mirror and treating you the way you treat others to demonstrate why your own behavior is either wrong or to show you the natural consequences of your behavior. It's that simple.
To associate with me, you must 1. Having stable income or support network. 2. Must not live with your parents unless there is a good reason.
Disabled taking care of them.
3. Not constantly e-beg. 4. Not associate with red sheets
Or bad sheets.
5. Not pathologically lie. 6. Maintain some level of sobriety. 7. Lack felonies of a violent or sexual nature. 8. Lack any criminal history of any kind involving children or at-risk individuals or animals. 9. Not demonstrate mentally unstable behavior fitting cruel trolling, sociopathic or behavior fitting actual predatory patterns. 10. Consistently demonstrate a history of intellectual honesty, personal integrity, and accountability when directly challenged, rather than resorting to mind games to evade responsibility. Edit. This should be common sense.
I shouldn't have to post this. I'm calling for a funding strike on all of these e-beggars. If their streams are just hate, man, don't give them a cent. YouTube needs to start booting all of these cyberbones. My open response to Stones begging to meet to give them views.
I'm not giving you my clout or giving you control over my speech. You're a censorship and red sheet channel. Why would I associate with you now that you've associated yourself with Fresh, LB, Blue, and CPN? I don't wanna touch what is touched, absolute shit. Grow, stay in, Fucklahoma where you belong. You can panel with the other weirdos.
I don't wanna associate with your lying, spineless, bad karma. Go nowhere ass anymore.
I don't want your dirt to rub off on me. I literally explained to Stone. He lied about not associating with red sheets. Now he's claiming he has no idea what's going on again. Coward never deals with confrontation very well. Remember when he mass banned everyone from Unbraided for years? Over and over, and it became a joke. They had to check the ban list all the time for years because of how much of a coward he was when it came to confrontation and censorship. Yeah, that tracks. Acting close, whisper campaigns and personal attacks. Bitch moves lives like a boy, even in his 30s. A whole bunch of reposts today, so check out the video section.
There's also some that none have never seen before, so go lurking.
People that intentionally seek with domestic abusers, chomos, etc. are losers. Full stop. And CPN factually, emotionally abused his wife. Threatened to rape a child and tried to justify tons of creep stuff, among other things. LB has half a dozen DV cases and pointed a weapon at child. And don't get me started on Blue Stonehenge, just loves the platform as many creeps as Blue as this point. Scully doxed and threatened women who rejected him. These creeps have too many people trying to kiss their butts or sheepishly send them French bracelets in the mail. People that do that are losers. All the whataboutism in the world doesn't make that go away, and will only work on the dum-dums that don't affect the world anyway. The rest need to wake up and make more serious decisions. The spineless chump spoke, so I clapped that boy's cheeks hard. Shut the fuck up, child. Speak only when karma lets you speak. Your social score is 0. General reminder regarding Stonehenge.
I have serious concerns about his conduct and credibility. In my experience, he has repeatedly defended or associated with people accused of sexual misconduct, engaged in persistent begging and dishonesty, and refused to seriously investigate claims or information after being corrected. When confronted about these issues, he often appears to deflect through bullying, gossip, or portraying himself as the nice guy.
Whatever anyone thinks of him personally, I think his behavior should be judged by the evidence and by how consistently he treats other people.
I certainly have no sympathy for the consequences he brings upon himself.
Literally Stone defending his chomo dad with a actually statement.
Prove it.
Go figure why he keeps blowing in Jesus fucking Christ. Like, this is why you don't give money to idiots. Just found out that Stone's father is a convicted child molester. This is all starting to make sense. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Apparently, he very eager to admit it and defend his actions. If you think you're better than pedos, violent offenders, etc., then you think you're better than everyone. That's bad logic, and frankly, it's the kind of reasoning you'd expect from someone with a bad reputation. Additional point, enablers are just as guilty as the doers. Keep revealing yourselves, you're doing all the work for me with the spam, and people can see who the guilty parties are. I just don't want to be on any panels with actual rumpus, puddles, or bastards, or anyone that enables any of that by championing anything, even tangentially promoting any of it through social politics. And people trying to tell me I need to make peace with those panel runners. For whatever reason, need to stop. There's nothing you can say that will be a rational argument to justify returning to that. I only kept going back because people kept saying channels were being revamped to be better, but it was always just more of the same. I can forgive and forget a lot, especially when people say things when they get angry or say a joke in bad taste. But habitual recidivist behavior attached to an addiction to conflict and trying to actually justify actual bad past, current, and planting future antisocial behavior. No, fuck off. You can straight fuck off. Fool me for the 1000th time. Shame the fuck on and all my ancestors.